As a court, please, my lord, the state calls the next witness is Sergeant Vusi Muzi Mohani. His witness number 107 on the list. My lord, this witness is going to testify in respect of the following exhibits. Exhibit KK, Exhibit MM, Exhibit NN, Exhibit OO, Exhibit PP1 and 2, we haven't received the copies yet, my lord.
Okay.
And my lord, just to orientate the court on the exhibit MM, as we mentioned, NN. Consists of several pages, my lord. It goes up to page 16. If some of the pages are not legible, we will correct that. Then exhibit MM consists of 9 pages. We have tried to bind the exhibits, my lord, but I see that exhibit MM and NN are right towards the end of the bundle that has been provided to the court. And Yes, my Lord, just once again, we just want to mention that exhibit MM as with certain pages that might not be visible. And that exhibit, in fact, goes up to page 11, my Lord. And not 9, page...
Okay, page 11.
Yes, up to page 11. And it goes along with exhibits UU1 and 2. Then exhibit NN goes up to page 18. However, pages 17 and 18 already form part of exhibit KK that has already been handed up. And all these are OB entries, my Lord, from various police stations.
Yeah, okay.
If we can also ask that my colleague Advocate Sibanda be allowed to assist should they need a rise, to assist the witness with the exhibits.
I thought you wanted to say something, Mr. Minister.
Yes.
You want to?
I'm requesting for an indulgence just to address the court on one aspect relating to this witness.
Okay.
Yes. My Lord, it will be remembered that at the onset of at the inception of this trial within a trial, the state made mention of the fact that there are statements that the state would want to prove in respect of accused number 3, 4, and 5. There was a bit of a request for clarification there as to what is it that the state would want to demonstrate to the court on the content of the said statement that the state says it wants to prove against accused number 3, 4, 5. Then the state said it is just the statement, my lord. Now, on the documents that we have been furnished by the state, which are the statement regarding the interview with the suspect, which is the document that the state intends to prove against accused number 3, 4, and 5, we have noted, my lord, that there's a portion where this witness also participated in that document. To be very specific, he participated as a commissioner of oath. Now, before the court could resume, we took this aspect up with our colleague for the State Advocate Baloyi and wanted to clarify with him as to whether or not would then that be the beginning of a testimony on the aspect of admissibility of the document that we mentioned at the beginning of the trial within the trial as they relate to accused number 3, 4, and 5. The answer that we're getting, my lord, is that this witness will not be testifying about accused number 3, about accused number 4, and about accused number 5. But the challenge that we have, my lord, is his name is included in the statement that we were furnished. On the statement regarding the interview with the suspect, his name is also included there. So I'm not so sure whether the state intends to, because the state specifically indicated that this witness will only testify in respect of accused number 1 and 2. I'm not so sure whether the state is then saying that this witness, for purposes of this trial within the trial as it is happening now, will only concentrate on accused number 1 and 2. And again, within the same trial within the trial, this witness is going to be recalled to come and say something, if there is anything to be said, in respect of accused number 3, 4, and 5, my lord. That is the clarification that we want to know. And the basis of this clarification, my lord, it's simply that if this witness were to start to say something about accused number 3, 4, and I'm not pleading the case here of accused number 4 and 5 as well, my lord, but we are in the same boat here. But if this witness were to start, as he is being led by the state, to say something in relation to accused number 3, 4, and accused number 5, then we'll go back to the initial argument that we raised at the beginning, my lord, that before a witness starts to testify against accused number 3, 4, and 5, we would want to know exactly, with certainty, as to what is it that the state intends to demonstrate when it leads the evidence relating to the warning statements. In other words, what is it that the state would ultimately want to argue as being the content of the statement that it wants to prove before court, my lord? That is going to enable us to prepare our defense and conduct our defense in line with what the state is going to argue ultimately as to why it actually wants to lead to this information or evidence, my lord. Thank you, my lord.
Yes, Mr. Baloyi.
As you could please, my lord, I have indeed intimated to my colleagues that this witness will be confined to the statements that were made by accused number 1 and 2. Hence, we've been going through the occurrence book entries, and those pertain only to accused 1 and 2. Insofar as the issue is concerned that has been raised by Advocate Nisi, that this witness might have commissioned the warning statement of their clients. Well, firstly, his evidence is not going to touch on that. I've given them that assurance. But secondly, my understanding of their defense during the trial, within the trial, is that their clients did not make any statements. So the commissioning thereof, with the greatest of respect, I don't think is an issue. They're simply saying, they didn't make any statements. So it's then for the state then to show that indeed a statement was made. And we must keep in mind at this stage, my lord, that it's only about the voluntariness of the statement and not the contents thereof. So Advocate Sergeant Mokhane's evidence, should we reach that point about the contents, will only be relevant at that stage if the contents of those statements are disputed. But for present purposes, my lord, we're not going to canvass that.
So these are the statements of accused 3, 4, 5?
Yes.
Because the defense of accused number 3, 4, 5 is that their clients did not make any statements.
Indeed.
But in the same breath, they want to know what is the contents of the statements.
Yes.
Is that what?
Yes. Well,
it's an oxymoron.
It's a two-pronged.
You know what's an oxymoron?
Two-pronged attack on the warning statements, but we are of the view, my lord, that shouldn't really be an issue at this stage, given their defense.
Mr. Mnisi, what's your response? Because Mr. Baloyi says your defense.
Yes, madam.
Is that your clients 2,
yes.
3, 4, 5 never made statements?
Yes, madam.
Never made statements?
Yes, madam.
Yeah.
That is so, my lord. However, that needs to be contextualized. When we say they did not make any statement, I'm not even so sure whether I'm positioned now to disclose what actually happened. But I think ultimately it will have to come to the court, my lord. When I said that it did not make any statement, it does not mean that there's something that is not contained in this document, my lord. There is something that is contained in this document which it does not bear knowledge of. So on the basis of what is contained in the statement, prima facie, there's a statement that was made, but our defense is it did not make that statement. That is what I meant by saying it did not make a statement, my lord. He bear no knowledge of what is contained in here.
Yeah,
and the state insists, my lord, that they would want to prove the statement. And I don't think that the state would simply want to prove the statement or the document simply for the sake of it being a document. There is something that is contained in this document that the state would want to demonstrate and bring it to the attention of this court.
Is there any unlawfulness in that aspect? Because this court, if anything is unlawful,
yes, madam,
and doesn't comply with the Constitution, I won't allow it. But I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't know. All I know is what the state is telling me, that they have a witness who's not going to traverse the evidence of number 3, 4, 5. He's going to testify in respect of the evidence of 1 and 2.
Yes, madam.
And then Mr. Baloyi says, you, as far as he's concerned, your clients, you have told him He did not make any statements. But he is saying your clients made statements. That's it. So that matter be resolved by the evidence. I told you about officers of court to tell this court one thing and the other thing. I mean, what should I do? He says your clients made statements. You say your clients didn't make statements. How will I know? I don't have them here. Let the evidence be led. If those statements are inadmissible, we'll see. If they are admissible, we'll see. I don't know. I can't prejudge the issue here now. Okay.
That is the reason why, my lord, I am standing and saying that in the document where the state alleges that our client made a statement, the name of these witnesses, of this witness features. But the state then says, no, don't worry, this witness will not say anything about your client. So we don't know whether we need to cross-examine this witness or what.
Any witness who testifies here, you have a right to cross-examine him or her. Okay.
As it is the court.
Yes, Mr. Balui, let's start.
As the court, please, my lord.
Can you say you have sworn the witness in?
Not yet.
Not yet. Please do so.
May it please the court. Ngicela usho amagama akho wonke nesibongo. Asiqale la. Uzokhuluma lokho Spain. Utlabala Spain. Kupawula le maina akho akamoka le sefana.
Vus Umozi Mohani.
Utlabale bothata ka o tjia tlamo ya go bolela nnete. No objection to taking the prescribed oath, my lord. Rano re o tlabolela nnete le nnete fela o sena se seng ka ntlha ya nnete. E mesa le tso gore modimo o thushe.
Modimo thushe.
So sworn, my lord.
Yes.
Is it correct that you are a sergeant in the South African police?
Can I tell you Sergeant more Sporting South Africa? That is correct.
When did you join the South African police service?
South Africa.
August 2002, 4.
On the 4th of August 2002.
Can you just briefly set out your career history in the police until now?
I joined the police service in 2002 and I went to college. Qala esipoliseni in 2002 lapho ke engaya khona e-college.
Basic training, station,
I then finished my basic training and I went back to the station and I became a detective. College station
Which station?
Police station.
I was in the Uval police station. Uval police station.
In Johannesburg?
Yeah, in Johannesburg.
Yes, it's in Johannesburg.
Yes.
Yeah,
2004, Wankisha Hillborough Tracing Unit.
From there, in 2004, I was taken to the Hillborough Tracing Unit. So, I saw a Hillborough Tracing Unit. And then from there, I went back to Yeovil and as a detective. So, I happened to Yeovil.
Yes, which years?
Early 2006.
It was in 2006. 2006.
Yes.
Then 2007, I joined Johannesburg Vehicle Theft Unit.
And 2007, I joined the Johannesburg Vehicle Theft Unit. In 2007, I said, Johannesburg Vehicle Theft Unit.
Yes. 2010, I joined a Provincial Taxi Violence Unit. There was still a captain there, brigadier.
In 2010,
Provincial Tax Violence Unit.
I joined the Provincial Taxi Violence Unit, where I met Brigadier Dininza. At the time, he was still a captain. Ngo-2010 ngajoyina i-Johannesburg Taxi Violence Unit, Provincial Taxi Violence Unit. Ngahlangana ke no Brigadier Dininza. Kodwa ke lapho kwayesokapteni.
Is it correct that Brigadier Dininza is the lead investigator in this matter?
Brigadier Dininza ke na adirang dinya ke shisho ya mo gola di dinya ke shisho mo khizini. That is correct. Yebo kunjalo Brigadier Dininza uyana ke umsesho omkhulu kulolu daba.
Yes.
Omega 2012 ukawela gape Johannesburg Vehicle Theft Unit.
In 2012 I went back to the Johannesburg
Vehicle Theft Unit.
Johannesburg Vehicle Theft Unit. Ngo-2012 ngabuyela ke ku-Johannesburg Vehicle Theft Unit.
Yes.
Then 2016 ke joined National Cold Case Unit in Pretoria.
In 2016 I joined the National Cold Case Unit in Pretoria. Ngo-2016 ilanga qala konsenzela i-National Cold Case Unit eLipitori.
And who is the head of that unit?
Brigadier Dininza.
It is Brigadier Dininza. Omkhulu ke kuleyo ndawo uBrigadier Dininza uyana umkhuzwane lo qembu.
Yes.
Ngelo go joina unit e mshomo wa ka ke go collecta di docket go tloga dinageng tsa Afrika Borwa ka moka.
And in my duties within this unit is to collect dockets from all over South Africa. These dockets are those that have cases that we are concerned with.
Yes.
Futhi ke lapho ke mina umsebenzi wami ukuhamba ngithatha wonke amadokete la kwelasemzansi anamacala aqondene nathi.
Now, in total, how many years service do you have? In the South African Police Service?
South Africa. I have 21 years in the South African Police Service. In the South Africa.
Are you part of the investigating team in this matter?
That is correct.
And what do your duties entail in this team?
It is to be a detective. And it also to investigate the suspects.
Exhibit for downloading,
and also to collect exhibits to take them for downloading. Futhi ke nokuthatha ke izinkomba ziyo download. Also, the very important responsibility is to arrest once we're finished with our investigations. Futhi komunye umsebenzi ukuthi ke ngisiyobopha uma sekuukuthi sesiqedile uphenyo lwethu.
Can you then tell the court in your own words what happened in December of 2019?
Uga uja hore kamanja hore ho diragetseng ka December 2019.
Brigadier Dininza o ile sa le colonel o ile a hwetša tshedimošetšo ka case ya o bolawa ka Senzo Meyiwa.
Brigadier Gininda got information about the case of the death of Senzo Meyiwa, but at that time he was still he was a colonel at that time. Brigadier Gininda wathola ke ulwazi mayelana nokubulawa kaSenzo Meyiwa, kodwa ngaleso sikhathi wayesokolonel.
Yes.
And
since we were working together, he brought us together and we sat down and discussed this particular case. And ngoba ngisebenza ndawonye wasibhizi sahlala phansi sayibheka ke licala lethu.
Yes.
Wilo wajolela gore ona le
Yes, so you don't need to go into details. What did you do in December of 2019?
December 2019. And while we're conducting our investigations, a name of a name of Bongani Ntanzi came up. Yes. And there was an informer who told us that this man is involved in this case.
Yes, information was received regarding Mr. Bongani Ntanzi, is that correct? What did you do as a result of that information?
We sat down and discussed it, and they wanted to know where he could be found and where and what he had done. So I said, ngoLwesibini Iindaba safuna ukwazi ukuthi wenzeni futhi nokuthi utholakala.
Yes.
Western area.
It was then discovered that he worked for a certain mine in Western area. So I said, Senzo Meyiwa mine in Western area.
Yes.
We tried to look for him, unfortunately we could not find him.
Yes. Yes, you received information. Yes. Did you follow up on the information?
Yes.
Yes, we did follow up on that information.
Yes, and what did you establish? Yes. Yes, you followed up the information.
Yes.
What did you find?
We discovered that he is involved in that case.
Did you try to trace him?
Yes, we did look for him. Yes. And as we were looking for him, we also discovered that there are certain cases which he might be involved in apart from this specific one. Yes. And then we went to look for those cases and we found them. So I said,
yes.
And we went to sit again to discuss with Brigadier Keninda. Also, suspended legal sharp and suspended on Brigadier Keninda. And also we work with Sergeant Mukula. Futhi besebenza no Sergeant Mukula.
Yes.
Ahora na kwela ibili bale kwa December minyaka re pleke cheka muka.
And from December we looked for him and we looked all over for him. And so on December samfuna kodwa samfuna yonke indawo.
Yes, which year?
Late 2019 and early 2020.
And kusuka ekugcineni ka 2019 kuyofika ku 2020.
Yes.
Really manyaka ra mkhwetsa ile gore sorry Rustenburg.
We looked for him until we discovered that he stays in Phukeng in Rustenburg. Samfuna saze sathola umkhondo uthi uhlala ePhukeng eRustenburg.
Yes. When did you locate him?
Lile la mkhwetjani.
June.
We eventually got him in June.
Of which year?
2020.
In 2020. Sakugcina simthole ngoJune 2020.
Yes.
Omegare o anal matam milate minche amega go yona. Re fitla kwa o lo mogolo gore mnyaka la wana wa nongoma.
Bona le o mogolo?
Wa nong case anongoma.
Oh, memula.
Yeah.
Well, since he had many cases, there was a big case that was from Nongoma that he appeared to be involved in as well. Stage masamfuna sathola nokuthi khona iqembu elikhulu elivela kwaNongoma nalo athintekayo kulo.
Yes. Then wabale ngwe gape ya Fosloras le yona.
There was also another case from Fosloras. It was ukuba nelinye icala lase Fosloras.
Isingile la plawe umonga apalmla.
Not this murder case. Kungelona ke leli cala lokubulala.
Yes.
Ome era dile kwebelele bekanali Sergeant Mabena, the late Sergeant Mabena.
I also mentioned that I was with Sergeant Mabena, the late Sergeant Mabena. Singishilo ukuthi ngangisenzisana no Sergeant Mabena osesishiyile.
And who is Sergeant Mabena?
Sergeant Mabena.
Sergeant Mabena ki obergal fapela crime intelligence. Most police Africa bor.
Sergeant Mabena used to work in crime intelligence in the South African police. Sergeant Mabena wayesenza nalabo abafuna ke abathungatha ulwazi espoisini South Africa.
When did he pass on?
Wash uyilahla bafana ne?
Ego pola botse ngwaga go feta ka September.
If I remember correctly, he passed away in the last year in September. Mangumla kahle wadlula emhlabeni kulonyaka wedlule ngoSeptember.
Kabutsi motor.
In a car accident. Washona ke engozini yemoto.
Yes.
Sergeant Mabena ke ena ba re go bapeletsa information.
Sergeant Mabena was the one that was collecting information for us. Sergeant Mabena yena was qoqela ulwazi.
Yes.
And ke ena gape ba loro ba shoma le tlhodi tse dintse tse di thushitseng marato.
He was also the one who was working together with the other informers that were helping us in this case. Mina wayesebenza ke nabanye ke abasithungathela ulwazi kuleli daba.
Yes, you mentioned that you were with him, Sergeant Mabena. What happened?
Sergeant Mabena.
Ya go meka the 16th of June really ra fitla kwa Phukeng.
On the 16th of June we did arrive in Phukeng. On the 16th of June safike Phukeng.
Which year?
2020.
That was in 2020.
Yes.
Ka ge tlhodi be tshetse re boditse gore re ka mkra ga bongane ntanzi ra go me ya ile re bontsha plekeo.
Since the informant informed us where we would find Bongani Ntanzi, he then directed us to that place.
Yes, we followed up the information. What happened?
And then what was it after?
So el tama le ena re le belisha molato a re bontsha montantsha dulang ona o mera mmona le mosagare.
We went there during the day, and where we were, he showed us where Ntanzi could be found. What's the start against this? Ntanzi tola kona go is me.
Yes.
Ale manchibuana a June 16, 2020 re ya police station ya Phukeng.
On the evening of June 2016, we went to the Phukeng police station. Kusihlwa ke umhla 16 June 2020 sasesiya esikhumulweni sasemaphoyisa sasePhukeng.
Yes.
Ke molao gore ge re fitla dipoleke tse dingwe tshwanetse re fete police station go pele thuso ya maphodisa.
It is custom that when I go to a different place, we need to go first to the local police station and ask for assistance. Kuwumthetho ukuthi uma siya kwenye indawo sifika singene esikhumulweni samaphoyisa sicele usizo khona.
Yes.
Ume re le go fitla ona ra gopela re tswa National Cold Case Investigation a re tsebe pleke ga botsa re ke boshego bile a re tshepe motho.
And then we informed them that we come from the National Cold Case Unit, and we do not know the place and we do not trust anyone. So sesifika kulonda sathi sabatshela ukuthi siphuma ku National Cold Case Unit, sabatshela nokuthi asiyazi indawo futhi ke sithembi umuntu.
Yes.
Ke umebele ba dumela ra phela ba re fele se tshire montantsha dulang ga tshetse go bona mosagare.
They also agreed to accompany us to where we Ntanzi was staying, the place that we had been shown during the day. Asebevuma ukuthi bangasiphelezela siye kule ndawo la uNtanzi ayithola khona ke la basube sikhombisile emini.
Yes. Yes.
Ume lo fitla kwa rapokota mo rumi re bone mosagare ya Ntanzi.
On our arrival, we knocked at the room which had seen during the day where Ntanzi is supposed to stay. Sasifika sangoza kuleli room gumbi leli asasitshele ukuthi uNtanzi uhlala khona esikhonjisiwe emini.
And you said this was in Phukeng?
Yes, in Phukeng, Rustenburg.
Yeah, kwakuse Phukeng eRustenburg.
Yes.
Ume wila ruwilela rai mochal kana maphodisa abula.
And we informed them that we are the police, and then they opened for us. Some chaluti sama maphodisa asuvule.
Yes.
Ume ramhwechana la kharwa ya Motswana.
And when we got inside, we found him with his Tswana girlfriend. So sisithola khona ke ukuthi wayehleli nengcwa yakhe yomtswana.
Yes.
Ile ga mojara wa mkhalabe abo wa mega molato mo wa Nongoma mo babolaileng motho bile le sethunya se go tjagetse.
And we informed him that he is a suspect in the case of murder in Nongoma, where also a gun was found. Sasimtshela ukuthi athinte ke ecaleni la Nongoma la wabula khona umuntu futhi ke nokuthi isibhamu sesatholakala.
Arvele verchana lo nitor ke ena ka ge hlodi arna imo ire bontshitja yena.
Since we were already aware that it was him, since our informer had given us information about him. Njengoba sasisazi ukuthi uyena ngoba owayesiza ngolwazi wayesitshelile ukuthi uyena.
Yes. Ke le ka mojora wa mgalabe o tseba ka eng o tseba eng ka molato wa Nongoma na.
And then I asked him what he knows about the Nongoma case. I said,
yes, you interviewed the suspect. Was he then arrested?
Yes, we arrested him.
Yes.
And then informed him of his rights. ngase ngimtshela ngamalungelo akhe.
Megamtshela di handcuffs.
And then we handcuffed him. Sasesimfakoza Nkosi.
Yes. Which are those rights that you explained to him? How did you go about explaining those rights?
We first told him that we are arresting him regarding the Nongoma case. Sasisamtshela ukuthi cha uboshelwa leli cala la wenongo. First told him that he has the right to remain silent. Sasisamtshela ukuthi unelungelo lokuthula.
Yes.
And also that whatever he says could be used against him in a court of law. Kunokuthi ke uma ukuthi khona akushoyo kungasetshenziswa ekuquleni icala lakhe enkantolo.
Lore akafumana memedi yena ikhetela go yena or wa mmusho re tla mo fa ile rana yona ile ra fana tšhelete o patela.
We also told him that he has the right to legal representation, and if he is unable to afford legal representation, then he has a right to be given legal representative, a lawyer that is going to be paid for by the state. So siyamtshela ukuthi unelungelo lokuthi abe nommeli kodwa ke uma ukuthi akwazi ukukhokhela ummeli umbuso ungamnika ummeli ozomsiza awungakhokhela.
Yes.
Salwa mchia ramana mecha kwela na Elena Pretoria North.
When we placed him in our car and then we took him to Pretoria North. So sisimfaka ke motweni yethu sana Pretoria North.
Did you merely explain his rights verbally?
Nilela mucha ditukelo tsa ka molomo fela. Yes, when we were in Phuket, I only told him his rights verbally.
Yes, and more or less, what time was it when you arrested him?
It was 9 in the evening. 9 was ebusuku.
Yes.
Pretoria North Police Station.
And then we went with him to the Pretoria North Police Station. So summarize it, so figure Pretoria North Police Station.
To 10 or past 10, around 10.
We arrived at around 10. I'm not sure whether it was before 10 o'clock or just after 10 o'clock, but it was around that time. So
yes.
And then when we arrived, I then handed him over his rights, his written rights. Yes,
but please, Malat, we have not yet received this notice of rights. As soon as we receive it, it will be handed as Exhibit LN1.
SAP 49.
LN1. I'm sorry, Malat.
49. SAP 49.
Yes. SAP 14A, Malat.
Yeah, 14A. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Also proceeded to read the rights for him again. And then I used the 3 languages, Zulu, English, and Sesotho. the aim of which was to ensure that he understands. Ngase ngimfunde ngimtshela ngesiZulu nangesilungu nangesisuthu ngenzela ukuthi ke ngibe nesiqiniseko sokuthi uzwisisile ngempela.
Oh, we la kwishisha ansayinela jona di.
He then showed that he understands and he proceeded to sign the document. Awakhombisa ukuthi uyezwa futhi ke wasiqhubeka ke uya sign lapha.
Yes. We
then locked him up on that night.
And what is the procedure when someone is placed in the cells?
When you go into the police station, there is a book called an OB book.
Yes. What does OB stand for, just for record purposes?
OBAMG.
Occurrence book.
It's OB stands for occurrence book. OB kumele ukuthi ke ilabhala khona izinto ezenzekayo esithi phecelezi ngesingisi occurrence book.
Ba ile ba mongwala ka mogare because ga di fihla o ba le polisa le lutse ka kwa le seleng le ngwala go re tsena le batho le re tswa le bona.
Well, his name was then entered into the occurrence book because there is this policeman whose duty is to record people who are taken in and people who are taken out. Lapho ke wasi igama lakhe lifakwa ke kule occurrence book ngoba khona iphoyisa lihlala lapha emaseleni elibhalayo makukhona umuntu ofakwayo nomuntu okhishwayo.
I just want to show you exhibit MM, page 1 thereof of exhibit MM. Can you just identify what is that exhibit? MM?
In exhibit MM ki ini?
Ki entry ke mongwalo ba ngwetseng gore re tlisitse ntanse kwa.
In this page we can see where it was recorded that we had brought Mr. Ntanzi to that facility. Lapha ke kubhalwe la ukuthi saletha ubaba Ntanzi simletha kuleyo ndawo.
Can you place and record the details regarding the day of the week and the date? Does appear on top of the document?
It was on a Tuesday in
2020, June 16.
On the 16th of June. lwesibili ngonyaka 2020 ngomhla 16 kuJune.
And what is the relevant entry as well as the time?
Njale sesingwadlwe ngumfaweki ingi linako yawana.
Una le serial number 467.
There is a serial number that starts with 467.
Linako hearing 2242.
There is a time also which is 2242.
The entry in transit.
Also there's an entry that says in transit.
Yes, can you?
In transit is what I was saying as police station here.
In transit is meant to indicate that the person that is being brought there is not intended to be kept at that specific police station. Which we take in transit because ukuthi lo muntu ke wayengalethwa lapho ukuthi ayogcinwa khona lapho wayedlula nje.
Yes. Can you place the particulars thereof on record?
Yes, Detective Sergeant Mohani of National Cold Case Unit.
And who's that?
You know?
Detective Sergeant Mohani.
Detective Sergeant Mohani. It is written here, Detective Sergeant Mohani.
Cold Case Unit with one suspect.
Cold Case Unit.
Case number Nongoma 160 of 10 2018.
With the Nongoma case number
163 of 10 2018.
163 of 10 2018.
Le malungelo a la gage a ditokelo tša ge tša go swarwa re bitsa SAP 14A ka sekgowa.
Also the his legal rights, the SAP 14.
Just read it as it is.
As it is.
No,
SAP 14 512 66 765. Time of arrest 2100 with no injuries. Contact number of Sergeant Mohani.
Yes, you don't need to read that. Yes.
And then more fasimo, one detained correctly omega sign.
Well, underneath it is also written detained correctly and then I signed. Ukuthi lapha ke kuyabhalwa ke imininingwane ukuthi ungene ngayiphi SAP 14 nawo konke lokho kwabhalwa nokuthi akalimalanga waqhubeka kufana nesikhathi sokuthi uboshwe nini kufana nokuthi inamba zalomuntu omlethile ke uSergeant Mohale kanjani kwasekuthiwa ke uvalelwe ngokomthetho.
Just for record purposes, can you just explain what is that SAP 14A?
SAP 14A.
SAP 14A ke buka e le gore ba ngwala baswariwa go yona.
SAP 14 is a book in which all the arrested people are recorded in. SAP 14 ke incwadi ke la ekubhalwa khona bonke abantu ababoshiwe.
SAP 14A, the number that starts with 512 66765. What is it?
SAP 14A e-learning number A lateral 512 66765.
Ditokelo tše re mfile go tšona tše bela ke o na le right to remain silent ona tšeo di na le nomoro ba bitša serial number.
Well, it is the serial number of the legal rights where they are recorded. Each time a person is given this legal rights, there is a number that is attached to that, a unique number. Also, this is a book with many pages. Manje ke lana ke lesikhuluma ngayo ke SAP 14 kufundila khona khona ke malungelo abasolwa and futhi ke lapho ke kuyabhalwa futhi nale serial number ukuthi lo muntu uyathola maphi amalungelo ukuthi ayekho omunye othola le number yakhe yedwa.
Is it the one that you mentioned that you explain it to him in Sesotho, isiZulu and English?
That is correct.
Yes, what happened after that?
Well, we placed him inside and then he was locked up and they received him and we left him there. Yebo sake samfaya ngaphakathi bamamkela bamvalela sasebenzisa la.
Yes.
Eke tloga mo le ka fonela Brigadier Gininda gore ke krele ntanzi Pretoria North Police Station.
And after that, I phoned Brigadier Gininza to inform him that we had found him Tanzi and that we had locked him up in Pretoria Police Station. Lapho ke safonela ukhuluma noNtanzi Brigadier ngase ngimchazela ukuthi hayi uNtanzi uBrigadier
Gininda.
Ngicela uBrigadier Gininda ukuthi uNtanzi ngimtholile and futhi ke sengimvalele ePretoria Police Station.
Brigadier lona Then
the brigadier said, I'm going to see him tomorrow, implying the following day.
Sorry, just to go back to the entry, did you place the time on record?
22:42.
Yes, the time was 22:42. The average cut was 22:42.
Yes.
Well, he left him there until the morning of the following day. Some on the evening of the 17th,
Pretoria North.
Mabena and I went back to Pretoria North.
Just place the year on record, 17 June of which?
17 June 6, 2020. No, sorry, 17 June 2020, sorry.
That was 17th of June 2020. 17 June 2020, and I'm up in Pretoria North.
Yes.
And on our arrival there, we requested to see Ndanzi. Must figure out a cycle to go and dance. We took him out of the cell and we took him to the boardroom. So, since the keeper, Marcel in Samisa boardroom.
Pretoria North.
Pretoria North, right there in Pretoria North.
Just a minute. Sorry? And what is the procedure when someone is taken out of the cells, like you have done?
The person that is in charge of the cells is going to make an entry into the OB book. Or
and was such an entry made?
And in Wile Anwala. That is correct.
It's page 3 of Exhibit MM. Can you read the relevant details, day of the week and the date?
Serial number
at the top there, the date.
Or the date. 2020. 17.
It is the 17th of the 6th month of 2020. It was a Wednesday. Ngomhla 17 kuJune futhi ke kungunyaka ka2020.
Yes, and the relevant entry.
1655.
The time is 1650. Is given as 1655. Isikhathi sibhalwe ngo 1655.
The serial number.
The serial number. I'm unable to see the serial number. It's not very legible because some of it has been chopped off. Angwazi ukubona serial number ngoba ngathi khona ayibonakali kahle.
Can you just place the serial number on record?
The serial number.
494.
The serial number is 494.
Nako 1655.
The time is 1655.
Investigation out.
It is written investigation out.
Detective Sergeant Mohani.
Detective Sergeant Mohani.
Of National Cold Case Investigation Unit.
Of the National Cold Case Investigation Unit.
With one suspect. Nongoma case, 160 of 10, 2020. No, 2018. I think one other mistake I would have linked 2018. That's one song only 2018. So only thinking I'm with 2020.
With one suspect of the Nongoma case of 2018.
Maramo 160 10, 2020.
But on the document, it appears that there's an error. Someone wrote 2020.
Yes.
Bongani Ntanzi.
Name of Bongani Ntanzi. Ukamara Bongani Ntanzi.
Cell 64 ke SAP 14 ya bangwa langwa tshwaro yona. Ke number 64 motshwaro wa number 64 tjatjile.
Also, cell 64 is the number of the accused on that day.
Of 6/2020.
Of 6/2020.
Then SAPS 14A is a little tokelo chele chaga pedicipla le.
And also they wrote about SAP 14A, which is his rights. His rights are also following him. Stilapo SAP 14A ukuna amalungelo akhe ukuthi asaqhubeka emlandeni.
Isana le yona nomoro yela gape ya 512666765.
Amalungelo ke asahamba nayo le number ka 512666765. The 5127765 number of the rights is still continuing with him.
51266
512666765.
Without injuries.
It is also written without injuries.
Yes. There's, we'll just read the rest of the information there.
Oh, no. Correct received.
It is written correctly received, and I also signed again.
Then Ramofas Raperonali number 498 booked back.
498?
Yeah, serial number 498 booked back.
Also, there's a number there, 498 booked back.
Yes, but can you explain to the court what was the purpose of booking him out? What happened there in the boardroom?
It's because there were many cases which he was involved in. We did not have enough time the previous night, so we wanted to have a good time to understand properly about these cases.
So
I also again reiterated his rights when arrested. I said mpinde futhi ngiyamkhumbuza ngamalungelo akhe uma eboshiwe. And I informed him that he has the right to remain silent. And I said mtshela ukuthi hayi unelungelo lokuthi angakhulumi. I also informed him that whatever he says can be used against him in a court of law. I said, I'm sure kungasetshenziswa ekudeni icala lakhe enkantolo.
le tso ya pele ke ya kwa Pretoria North apel Sergeant Mapena Mufu Sergeant Mapena ke le ga botsa Brigadier Kininda hore sa ilo bana ntanzi ra wela gape.
There's something I forgot to include, that before we went to the Pretoria North Police Station, we informed Brigadier Kininda that we would be going to see Ndanzi. As kusho ukuthi lisingakayi ePitoli ngayitshela uBrigadier Kininda ukuthi sisanga sePitoli kuyobona Ndanzi.
Lebaka la gore mmoja gore ke le ke mokamedi wa unit o swantsa tsebe ntho le gore dira.
The reason for telling him is because he is a unit commander and he must be informed of everything that is happening. Enhloso ke ukuthi simtshele ukuthi uyena umkhuzi wale liqembu leli kufanele konke okwenziwayo atshelwe.
Yes.
On arrival in the boardroom, we sat down. Safia boardroom, Safia Sasana. And then we asked him about this Nongoma case.
In which language were you communicating with him?
Most of the time I use English, Zulu and Sipedi. Ukuthi ke mina ikaningi ngisebenzisa isingisi, isiZulu nesipedi.
Ibila wa karna mhlobo mang if ever mu Tswana kubelela Setswana.
Well, it also depends on who you are. If you speak Tswana, I do speak Tswana. But I also mix English in there.
But regarding Mr. Ntanzi, which language did you communicate with him in?
We used English, Zulu, and Tswana. Sasa says isingisi nesizulu nesitswana.
Yes.
Umekile ka mmutsisha fekara mmutsisha nna le Mofuma Bena gore o tsebang ka molato wa Nongoma wa Sethunya le go bolaya.
We, that is me together with the late Mabena, asked him what he knows about the murder case in Nongoma.
Yes. Regarding this matter, what happened?
We informed him that there was an informer who informed us that he is involved in this case. Some kazelake nokuthi kukhona wasethulela ulwazi ukuthi uyathiketeka kulolu daba.
Yes.
Umekile ka musharana o ba le ka 26 ja October 2014 re Senzo Meyiwa abolaiwa
26 ja October
2014.
We asked him where he was on the 26th of October 2014 when the deceased was killed. Zambuza ukuthi wayelaphi ke ngomhla 26 enyangeni ka October 2014 mhlazane umufi ebulawa. He did know about the date of the death of Senzo Meyiwa. Wayazi ngosuku lokwazi lokubulawa ka Senzo Meyiwa.
The way radio the TV
he claimed that he knows about this case because it was all over the news. Wathi ke wazi ngalokubulawa Senzo Meyiwa ngoba kwakusema phaphandabeni na mabona kude nabo konke.
Yes.
Aloke mutho naka wa mega mo mogononelwa mo molatung o bole kae ka tšatšile la 26 October 2014.
Well, when I told him that he is a suspect in this case, I asked him where he was on the 26th of 2014. I think ngambuza ukuthi lo bange sangathi yathinteka kulolu daba wayelaphi ngomhla 26 10 14.
We are in the still water mine for Western area.
He claims to have been at the Sibanye still water mine in Western area. What Tigana, I was saying my in Sibanye water mine in the Western area.
Yes.
Well, Gilega Musharna Aka Hona Horisha Wanamo Bashuma Wanamo mining Rilo Hunchor can knit
Well, we asked him if he could take us to the mines to go and verify that indeed he was on duty on that specific day at the mine. So since I would answer the say mine, which is your choice, so to him, better why I call the mine as 7 and little.
Yes.
He agreed to take us there, he did not refuse. Wow, would Mautu the strategy say Cornella Parazana pig?
Yes.
Omeka church will schedule Suvechi, Elagono, Silaela Gualona, I see Pilagishi or Arno. But that's what was asked. At 18 really.
Since it was late in the day and we felt that we could not drive that on that road going there, we felt that we told him that we're going to fetch him the following day to go there with him. Go back again, what's a good free there? Putting a spawn to the under and guess was we hammer. So it's a city there, open go from some landa, Geland and Langela.
Yes. Just before that, yes, sorry. You just interpret that.
Yes,
and what happened to Mr. Ntanzi?
We then took him back to the cell.
Was an entry made regarding that fact?
Yes, there is an entry.
Yes, it's on page 4, my lord, of Exhibit MM. Can you read the relevant entry?
Serial number is 498.
The serial number is 498.
Ghana Cornell in 1955.
The time was 1955.
Investigation back.
It is also written there, investigation back.
In which of Detective Sergeant Mohan of National Cold Case Unit.
Detective Sergeant Mohan was the National Cold Case Unit.
On Longoma case 160 of 10. I was also for instead of 2018 which is 2020.
With the actual case number, there is still a mistake here because it's still written in as 2020.
Cell number, serial number, yes, number is 64 of 10, 2020.
And he wrote the name and of the number, his arrest number, which is 64 of 10 of 2020.
Book back without injuries, correctly handed, and then sign it up.
At the bottom is written book back with no injuries, and then also it is written that he was brought back properly, correctly, and then the sergeant signed as well. We are signing.
Yes.
Okay, well, Luana Brick Salaga Fonela Brigadier Guinina Perno, Munam Dimo, Dumela Orisha Mabashumahon.
I then called Brigadier Guinina again and informed him that this the suspect had agreed to take us where he claimed he was working. So I say ngimtshela uSergeant Ginenzo ukuthi cha le nto ivumile ukuthi ngasathisise la eyenza khona.
Umme ile lo robala sasa ga wana ka la bobedi 2020 0680.
We then went home and the following day, which was the
18th of June.
It was on the 18th of June 2020.
Yes.
Omega fihla kwa diseleng gape
I arrived again in the cells ngafika futhi emaseleni
nearly 8:15 serial number 520.
The time was 8:15 and the serial number was 520.
Investigation out.
And it's also written there as well, investigation out. We should bhaliwe futhi ukuthi yakishwa nangumuntu ukuyokwenza uphenyo.
Akivoni usuna advocate unalethile mos. Akivoni
was. I'm unable to see. It is a bit illegible for me to read.
Would this be an appropriate time to take the short adjournment?
Again for 15 minutes.
So got this, my notes. Do you now have the original occurrence book entry of the 18th of June 2020 at 8:15?
8:15. Yeah, that's it.
I have found it.
Yes, can you read the entry?
Serial number 520.
520.
Nago 8:15.
The time is 8:15.
Investigation out.
Investigation out.
Detective Sergeant Mokhani booked out.
Detective Sergeant Mokhale,
one male suspect. On Nongoma case 160 of 10/2018. Bongani Ntanzi. SAP 14.
SAP 14.
66 or 6, I can't recall, 61 or 66. Let's see. 60?
64.
64. Yeah, 64 of 6, 2020.
64 of 6, 2020.
Then
yes.
The Tokelo Jela Isal Cholap SAP
Just read the rest of the sentence.
Sorry?
Just read the rest of the sentence.
Monganin Tanzi SAP 1466 6 2020 SAPS 14A S1266765 without any injuries. Correctly received. Akisaini lagap.
Lapha yakhombisa ukuthi ubuyisiwe engalimele futhi wamukelwe kahle wasesiyayisayini.
Yes, what happened after you booked him out?
Utirangengale mu jerela muncha.
Kile ka muncha rea kwa ga ngona uri boncha na kikai.
And I informed him that we are going where you work so that you can show us where it is. Ngase ngamtshela ukuthi siyala usenza khona ukuthi sikhombise ukuthi kulaphi.
Kile ka mucha ditokelo tsa gape gore a sepela o sala le ditokelo tsa go homola.
And I explained him his rights again to him, and I informed him that he still has the right to remain silent. Ase ngamtshela ukuthi ayisesiyaphuma naye futhi usaqhubeka ke ebe nalo ilungelo lokuthi usengathula.
I
also informed him that whatever he says will be used against him in a court of law.
Wila kushisha.
He understood. Wase eyazwisisa.
Before Petro was alaka phonela Brigadier Kininda gape.
Before leaving the place, I phoned Brigadier Kininda again. Ngasuki lapho ngafonela Brigadier Kininda futhi. And I informed him that we are going again with Ntanzi to where he works at the mine. I said, I'm telling you, somebody Ntanzi license akone mine.
Brigadier Kininda wata utlali Sergeant Mamruti Mohola.
And Brigadier Kininda then informed us that he was going to come together with Sergeant Mohola. Brigadier Kininda wasitshela ukuthi naye uzoza ehamba no Sergeant Mohola. We then placed him inside the car and then we went with him. Sasimfaka emotweni sihamba naye.
Western area
since he was the one that knew the way to Western area, he was the one that was guiding us on how to go there. Because in Western area, there are many mines. Western area, mine is he took us to that specific mine where he worked, and what
is it called?
Stillwater.
It is called Sibanye Stillwater. Le mine is Sibanye Stillwater.
On arrived
we waited outside the gate waiting for Brigadier Kininda to arrive. So sifikile lapho sama esangweni silindele uBrigadier Kininda ukuthi afike. Indeed, he arrived together with Sergeant Mohola. Sergeant Mohola.
More or less, what time was it?
Afternoon.
I really am unable to recall, but it was in the afternoon. I really can't recall the time. And when Brigadier Kininda arrived, I introduced him to Ntanzi. And Brigadier Kininda also introduced himself to Kininda and to Ntanzi. Brigadier Kininda naye kwasezethula etshela uNtanzi ukuthi ubani.
Brigadier Kininda phela bolela le yena o ile amile chama ditokelo tsa gape tse be ke mile tsa tsona pele re tloga kwa Pretoria.
Before speaking to him, Brigadier Kininda again reiterated his rights to him, the same rights that I read for him before we left Pretoria. Engakhulumi ke naye uBrigadier Kininda wasemfundela amalungelo akhe wona lamalungelo engangimfundele wona sisasuka ePretoria.
Wila mmoja wona amahlaloshetsa gore o ba le kae gape ka tšatši le Senzo Meyiwa bolawa.
Then he asked him, the Brigadier Kininda asked Ntanzi where he was on the day that Senzo Meyiwa was killed. Brigadier Kininda ebuzisa uNtanzi ukuthi oyelaphi mhlazane kubulawa uSenzo Meyiwa.
Wila mmoja gape Brigadier Kininda wena Ntanzi wa gononelwa goba go mo polaong ya Senzo Meyiwa.
Then he also informed him that he is a suspect in the case, in the murder case of Senzo Meyiwa. Basaphinda uyamtshela ukuthi umsolwa kuleli icala lika Senzo Meyiwa.
Ntanzi wila gana rena a tsebisile o ba le mšomong tšatši leo.
Ntanzi declined and said he does not know anything because he was at work on that day. Waphika-ke uNtanzi wathi akasilutho yena wayesemsebenzini ngalelo langa. We went together with him into the mine. Sahangena naye emayini.
Human resource.
We went to the human resource branch. Sasesiya la khona hlala khona be human resource. They checked in their records if Ntanzi was on duty on that specific day. It was discovered that he was not on duty on that day.
Human resource manager first statement.
Then the human resource manager gave us the statement with regards to that. Human resources statement.
Do you still remember his name?
No, that's what
the HR manager?
Yes, HR manager.
No, I'm unable to recall his name. I think Brigadier Ginenza might be able to record his name. And some kumbuli kamalake. What I'm saying to Brigadier Ginenza ngenza ukuthi sakumbuli kamalake.
Yes.
Federal first statement. Brigadier Ginenza kargena swearing case ya polawa ya Senzo Meyiwa ya 636 of 2014.
And after that, since Brigadier Ginenza is the one who's in charge of this investigation of the death of Senzo Meyiwa in the case 636 of 2014, of 10/2014, njengoba ke Brigadier Ginenza kwakuyena umphenyi omkhulu kuleli cala lokubulawa kaSenzo Meyiwa icala 636 of 10 of 2014.
Karkena na sore toket mahamanchi Brigadier Ginenza aboncha Ntanzi unale sithombe selo ne ba se drawile se swanang le yena.
Since Brigadier Ginenza was the chief investigator in this, and also the one who had the docket, he then showed Ntanzi a picture which was said to be a likeness of him.
We just want to
Brigadier Ginenza yena kwayephethe umphenyi omkhulu kuleli cala and futhi kwakuyena wayephethe docket wayesekhipha ke isithombe lapho esasi umfanekiso wakhe uNtanzi.
We just want to show you exhibit BB. Do you recognize that exhibit on the screen?
Guess what?
Yes, I can see it.
Yes.
You haven't guessed born.
Yes. Which one?
Left.
He's the one on the left. The one who's wearing a hoodie. You know, hoodie.
But in relation to what we've just told the court now, are you able to relate that to your evidence?
You
say an identity kit was shown to Ntanzi. Which one?
It is the same one that is on the picture. It's on.
Yes, which one?
It's the one that is on the face. It is the face that is on the left. The one that is wearing a hoodie. You know, left Ntanzi denied being present at the killing of Senzo Meyiwa. Ntanzi waphi ukuthi wayekhona ekubulaweni kaSenzo Meyiwa.
Omme o ile gape a dumela gore wa tseba ka polao ya Senzo Meyiwa botsa
you may not disclose what was said to Brigadier Gininda. That's not admissible. Is it correct? Brigadier Gininda interviewed Mr. Ntanzi. Yes. What happened further?
No, we la muchacha muchachona, and then go tloga mo ka mo Brigadier Gininda no umudi jo wa tseba yena go dira ga tšenga ka tsela.
Please don't disclose what he told Brigadier Gininda. What happened further? After the interview that Brigadier Gininda had with Ntanzi?
Sorry?
Ntanzi abulele le Brigadier Gininda.
What happened?
Brigadier Gininda wela mo tšaga pa mo ona ka dira tšaga gape.
Brigadier Gininda informed him of his rights again. Brigadier Gininda waphinda wamtshela ngamalungelo akhe.
Gore sa se bolelang gape se tlo šomišiwa kgatlhanong le ena le lona a ka no gomoleranya go bolela.
Informed him that whatever he says can be used against him and that he can continue to remain silent.
Yes.
Konga kushoyo kungasetshenziswa ecaleni lakhe maliqulwa futhi ke nokuthi angakwazi ukuqhubeka athule angasho lutho.
Yes, what happened further?
Bakutira ngutshela pile
go tloga mo ka re bjale ba tšhabeditse le Brigadier Gininda. Brigadier Gininda o ile a sepela a o tla dira gore a nyake motho le gore Ntanzi a ka bolela le yena a ne ka mokgwa wa confession o e leng gore a tsebisele ka molato wa reng.
ke kopa o e beya e be di-passage ngatanyana gore o kgone go
gore Brigadier Gininda a fetse bolela le Ntanzi ya moditse go tsona.
After Brigadier Gininda had finished telling him what he had informed him, emva ukuthi Brigadier Gininda eseqedile ngoloku Ntanzi amtshela kona,
omme Brigadier Gininda wela mo tšhabela botšare nora wa ke tlanya ka motlho ro tla mo tšare taba ka mogo le gore a se be molato gore go dira ga tšea ge rena re a phenya.
And then he said Brigadier Gininda informed him that he was going to look for somebody that Ntanzi was going to be able to tell him, that person, about the fact that he, Ntanzi, does not know anything about the case that was being
yes, please. Brigadier Gininda said he'll arrange someone to take down a confession. What happened further?
No, we la sepela Brigadier Gininda then nale mapena ra tšwela pele ka moshomo wa rena.
Brigadier Gininda then left, and then me and Mapena continued with our duty.
And
since there were many cases that he was involved in, we continued to make our investigations. And from there we took him back where we had took him at the police station. Police station.
Which police station?
Police station
Pretoria North.
That is the Pretoria North police station.
Yes.
On arrival, we then booked him back in. Must be a person some far footing apart. And again, he was registered into the books.
Which books are you referring to?
It's an occurrence book.
It's still the occurrence book.
Yes, can you place the relevant entry in the date?
Friday 2026-19.
On top of the book it is written Friday
2020.
It is Friday 2020.
06.
In June.
19.
On the 19th.
Notice page 7 of exhibit MM. Yes.
And serial number 531, sorry, 531. Now 2:30 in the morning.
The time is 2:30 in the morning.
Investigation back.
Investigation back. Should you say we are Buyiswa?
Detective Sergeant Mohan of National Cold Case Unit booked back one suspect.
Sergeant Mohale was National Cold Case Investigation. Probably some sort
of murder on Nongoma case.
Oh, sort of Bulala Italy.
Case number 163 of 6/2018.
The case number 163
stroke 06
stroke 06
stroke 2018
stroke 2018. That is the case number 16306 of 2018. In here, it is written correctly.
SAP 14.
It also continues to mention the name of Bongani Ntanzi.
SAP 1464 stroke 06 stroke 2020.
SAP 64 stroke 06 2020.
SAPS 14A.
And it continues to say SAP 14A.
Serial number 5266765.
It also provides the same serial number 512666765.
Booked back without any complaints or injuries. Correctly handed.
It was correctly handed in and then the sergeant signed again. Futhi yakumisala ubamfaka kahle and usayitsheni waphinde wasayini.
Another entry 532.
There's also another entry of 532.
235.
The time is 2:35.
Suspect charged. Yes. Detective Sergeant Mohani.
Sorry, just put the correct time there.
235. It's not 235.
0235.
0235. Sorry.
Yes.
Suspect charged, Detective Sergeant Mohani of National Cold Case Unit, charged one male suspect of murder on Nongoma, case 163 of 6/2018, of which now he wrote the wrong case number again. Supposed to be 163 of 10/2018, the month there.
Kuthiwa lapho-ke Sergeant Makale wathwesa wesilisa icala ngecala lika 163 of 6 futhi kwaphinde wayebhala wenza iphutha ekubhaleni le case leyasi kwanongo.
Ibilele mo entry year 531 asangabona botse le ngwana case we ngwetse wrong. It's 163 of 10/2018, not 163 of 6/2018. Of entry serial number 531, where it says booked back one male suspect of murder on Nongoma case 163, though it was supposed to be 163 of 10/2018, not 163 of 6/2018.
There's also a mistake in the serial number 531, where it was supposed to be 163 of 10 of 2018. It was written as 163 of 6/2018, which was a mistake. Lakhona iphutha lenzeka futhi ngokuthi kufanele ubhale ukuthi 163 of 10 of 2018 ubhale ku 163 of 6/2018.
Satshala phela kapeka entry ya 532.
Saqhubeka nge-entry 532.
01 Bongani Ntanzi cell 64 of stroke 6/2020.
Sekubandani Ntanzi futhi oku cell 64 of 6/2020.
SAP 14A.
SAP 14A.
51266765.
5126666765.
Charged correctly. Without any complaints or visible injuries. Correctly charged, I signed.
Akukho zikhalazo futhi ke uthweswe kahle icala Wase yasayinda ke usayitsheni.
And then Robali entering Friday 20.
There's also another entry on that very same Friday.
Yeah, 2026-19. Serial number 534.
Serial number yalapo 534.
Number 0450.
Manje lapho isikhathi sithi 0450.
Whenever I got prisoner transferred, Detective Sergeant Mohani of National Cold Case Unit with 1 male.
Manje umsolo ke nangu useyadluliswa ehamba noSergeant Mohale ophuma National Cold Case
with 1 male suspect of murder.
Wayehamba nomsolwa wesilisa othweswe ityala lokubulala.
Nongoma 160/6/2018 case number.
Umanje ke icala la Nongoma 160/10/2018.
Then Ramofasi are 1 Bungani Nkanzi cell 64/06/2020/06/2020.
Manje kuyashiwa ke lapho ukuthi Bungani Nkanzi 64/6/2020.
SAP 14A 512-66765.
Yaphinda futhi kuyafakwa ne-serial number ethi SAP 14A 512-66765.
Transferred to Phosphorus Court without any injuries or complaint.
Wedluliselwe ePhosphorus Court engalimele futhi enganasikalo.
Apho which or correctly transferred kisayina gape.
Futhi ubhaliwe nokuthi udluliswe kahle waphinde wasayina usayitsheni.
Yes, what happened then?
We then took him at the time and went with him to court. So Sabtata Sambana is in Gandolo.
Is it a first Loras court?
First Loras court, yes.
Yes, that is in the first Loras court indeed. Yeah, but what we on the court as a first Loras?
Yes.
Past 5, between 5 and 5:30.
And when we were on our way between 5 and 5:30, we got a call from Brigadier Gininda. Sisa sendleleni go 5 to 5:30. Sathola ucingo lwaluvela ku Brigadier Gininda.
He informed
us that he had found someone that was going to be able to take the confession of Ntanzi. Wayesesho ukuthi uthole umuntu ongalalela uNtanzi uma evuma isongo.
Pileria Court for the Morocco police station.
Before we went to Forest we went via the Morocco police station. Morocco police station.
Lieutenant Colonel Rapadu.
He said we're going to find the Lieutenant Colonel Rapadu.
Confession
who was going to receive Ntanzi's confession. Tell the police officer, tell Lieutenant Colonel Rapadu, why you like Ntanzi evuma ison.
No, and then Colonel Brigadier Gininda adira arrangements and
then that Brigadier Gininda then made arrangements with Lieutenant Colonel Rapadu, informing him that we're on our way. Colonel Gininda also tell Lieutenant Colonel Rapadu which is send the lane
batho ba tla re escortang go ya court lo ya Moroka.
I then arranged for escort from Moroka police station to the court. I say ngicela abazosipheleza lusuke Moroka police station siya e court.
Yes, who did you phone?
Go tloga ke phone tše Ekurhuleni Metro Police.
I phoned the Ekurhuleni Metro Police. I phoned abesiphoyisa sase Ekurhuleni Metro.
Officer Jabulani Buthelezi.
Ngakhuluma ke no phoyisa lapho ku Jabulani Buthelezi. I spoke to Officer Jabulani Buthelezi.
In charge of the escort sa Metro Police Ekurhuleni.
Because he was one in charge of the Ekurhuleni Metro police escort. We ke owaye phethe benza ama escort nomphelezeli lapha Ekurhuleni.
Re ra kwana ka re bisa le froa ka se gone o tlo re lata ka mo South Pretoria o tla re emela Alberton mo tseleng.
We then had an agreement that since it was still early, he wasn't going to come and fetch us from Pretoria, but he was going to wait for us in Alberton. I said to him, ngoba kusesekuseni angeke wazuzosilanda Pretoria uzosimela eAlberton.
O tla romela group ya gage e nang le gore e re emela kwa Moroka.
He then said he was going to send another group which was going to wait for us at Moroka police station. I said, uzothumela inqembu lizosihlana nathi eMoroka.
Group enele Moroka ke Officer Jonathan.
Now those that were in Moroka were Officer Jonathan together with his colleagues. And lapha ke eMoroka kuyoba Officer Jonathan nabanye ke asebenzisana nabo.
Awakaniti ra kopana le bona mo tsileng a sangara no yema ga re ba re bone then ba re latela.
And we then joined them on the way because we did not stop. They actually saw us and then they followed us. Hayi base beqhumana nathi endleleni asizange sime ngoba bavele basibona base beyasilanda.
Who are you referring to?
Officer Jabulani Buthelezi and his group.
I'm referring to Officer Jabulani Buthelezi and his group. Ngikhuluma Officer Jabulani Buthelezi nethimba lakhe.
When we entered,
Soweto, since there were there was a lot of traffic, they went ahead of us, clearing the traffic for us.
Moroka police station.
Until we reached the Moroka police stations, we still figure Moroka police station.
Kilega phone la Brigadier Ginindor, which the Lieutenant General Rapadu refilled.
Then called Lieutenant Colonel Gininda again to ask him to inform Lieutenant Colonel Rapadu that we had arrived.
Yes.
Lieutenant Rapadu police station.
Then Lieutenant Colonel Rapadu informed us where exactly he was sitting within the police station. Lieutenant Colonel Rapadu was sitting ukuthi uhleli iphi la ngaphakathi kwesikhululo samaphoyisa.
Ka khopela Officer Jonathan wa Metro Police Ekurhuleni.
I then asked Constable Jonathan of the Metro Police of Ekurhuleni that he must be the one that takes Ntanzi to Lieutenant Colonel Rapadu.
Jonathan ki motolo ra tse beselo ka molati go phenya o khatlhanong le Ntanzi a isheke yena.
The reason for requesting that it be Constable Jonathan that takes him to Rapadu was because Constable Jonathan did not have any knowledge about the case that we were investigating.
Officer Jonathan Salachia
Constable Jonathan took Ntanzi to the office of Lieutenant Colonel Rapadu. Constable Jonathan wathatha Ntanzi wamisa ehhovisi lika Lieutenant Colonel Rapadu.
Wile atsenelela akusonane baduthi kaya atsenelela kume abuwa gape atlo emalrela mo koloing.
He went in, I don't know where they were sitting, but then after that he came back and sat with us in the car. Wangena ngalinga phakathi emva kwaloko wasebuya ezohlala nathi ezimotweni.
Yes.
Well, I'm a confession or pointing out. Mutato di sielang yona officer to the children kena arrange angor onyaga mutare mutlishebian.
When there is a confession that has to be taken or where there has to be appointed out, the person that is going to participate in that or the person that is going to be responsible for that is the one that gives us instruction on how they prefer it to be done. Manje umasekuyothathwa ke mhlambe ke ukuvuma icala noma ukuyokhomba lo muntu oyowenza lo msebenzi uyena ositshela ukuthi uthanda ukuthi kwenziwe kanjani.
Yes, what happened further?
Okay, Officer Jonathan Willa Malarena.
Officer Jonathan stood with us, Officer Jonathan Wamanati.
And then Rafecha Arizona Utsibelena or Ufedice and Tato, because Ntanzi Bona Chamana Italian support Canaraparum phone number of Funela.
I do not know how he got to know that they were finished. Because what we just saw is we just saw him coming back with him. I then surmised that it is possible that Lieutenant Colonel Rapadu had exchanged phone numbers with him. Manje angazi ukuthi wazi kanjani ukuthi sebeqedile kodwa ke ngambona esebuya naye engathatha ngokuthi ke kusho ukuthi ke Lieutenant Colonel Rapadu babenikane amafoni naye.
Then when
Ntanzi came back, I asked him if he was still fine, if he doesn't have any problem, and he confirmed that there was none. We then got into the cars and went to the Foslorat's court. So singena emotweni sabangisa ema court ase Foslorat.
Yes.
Alero litile myalo re Foslorat. Gabaki fola brigadier our finish omera Foslorat.
On our way to Foslorat, I then called the brigadier and told him that we had finished and that we were on our way to Foslorat. Sisendleleni ngafona ubrigadier ngamtshela usesiqedile sesilibangise eFoslorat.
Ome ersiplamoti lera bara bolela le brigadier Gindaur para munno onali melati minchi. And vialo ya nongo mengar kia hule bukauni relevele prosecutor kwa Fosloras.
Well, we then discussed with Brigadier Kininza and said that since this suspect has many cases and that the Nongoma case is a case from very far away, lapho sakhuluma no Brigadier Kininza samtshela ukuthi njengoba umsolwa enamacala amaningi futhi ke leli lase kwelelaka Nongoma kuyicala la kude sizokhuluma nomshushisi wase Fosloras.
Orena karona le imalato mongape wa di drugs gape o loro khatlanong le yena ya Fosloras.
And we then said that since you do the accused also has other cases that involve drugs, so sikhuluma ukuthi umsolwa njengoba wayenelinye ke icala eliphethelene nezidakamizwa.
Yes, from what are the details of that case? From which area?
Sorry?
Case
Yeah, Phosphorus case 274 of 6/2020.
It is the phosphorus case 274 of 2020.
Yeah, 274 of 6/2020.
Of June 2020.
271.
271.
Sorry, yeah, 271 of 6, sorry.
It's 271, sorry, 271 of 6/2020 of phosphorus. Should you tell us phosphorus 274 of 6/2020?
Yes. Ome ra fitla go motšhotšhisela motlhalošetša re no ka gore bjale ba nno go matogole tshwanetse re feleletše le o na le tshwanetse re feleletša ka ele ya nongoma re tla no tlogane re tla motliša ka ya phosphorus ya 271 of 6/2020 re tla mo place ka yona.
And we agreed with the prosecutor that we discussed with the prosecutor that since the Nongoma case was very far, we're just going to place this phosphorus case and that's the one that we're going to deal with. Samtaruti ngoba leli cala kaNongoma icala ukuthi sizovele sibeke leli lase phosphorus kube ilona cala esilethulayo lapha kuyena.
Did you have the Nongoma case docket with you?
Icala case khetsila ya Nongoma lebele solo docket ya ona.
Yeah, ne re swere.
Yes, we had it. Yebo sasipha docket yakho.
Yes.
Ya gomme motšhotšhelo no ka bjale ya nongoma se jurisdiction ya gage a ka se ngwale ka mogare o tla ngwana ka ya phosphorus.
Then the prosecutor said
As the court pleases.
What's that? I was objecting to the hearsay.
As the court pleases. Which case received attention at the phosphorus court?
yale ke molato fingo ile ba gona go lebelela kwa phosphorus.
Phosphorus case 271 of 6/2020.
That is the phosphorus case 271 of 6/2020. Ushuthi abalibheka ke phosphorus icala le la se phosphorus 271 of 6/2020.
Yes. Yes, what happened regarding that case?
Motšhotšhiso o le no o na le lo tshwanetse ba di dire gape a ska itšea a ska enrolla.
As the court pleases, is there documentation regarding how this case was handled?
Meaning? When I want to more waiting OB 14A.
There is somewhere where it is recorded in the OB.
Yes. Instead refers you to exhibit UU1 and UU2. Can you give your evidence using those exhibits? The OB entries from phosphorus court cells?
Yes, this is one. I'm still looking for the UU2.
I am still looking for that exhibit.
Because can I look at this book? I don't have the 14.
I have an occurrence book. I'm not sure whether it is the book we're looking for.
This takes bounder will assist you. Use this to some time. Just start with UU2. What is the entry there on exhibit UU2?
Exhibit UU2.
In which Friday 2020.
It is written Friday 2020.
Yes.
Yes, in which Friday 2026-19. Omeala Telaki serial number.
On top is written 26.
Friday 26-19.
Yes.
Yala Telaki serial number 200.
That is followed by the serial number 200.
Now 1232.
And the time is 12:42.
1232.
12:32.
Prisoner received. Received one prisoner as per SAP 14. That's supposed to be the case, not the SAP 14. No, so sorry, it's SAP 14. 271 of 6/2020. No, case A, for sure, 271. Can we try to serial number SAP 14A, not case number.
Yes.
There is the wrong case number here because what is written here is SAP 14, not a case number.
Yes. Carry on with the entry.
Can the witness read the entry as is and not correct it?
The prosecutor's
Yes.
Okay, received one prisoner as per SAP 14-271 of 6/2020 from Pretoria North.
And
then SAP 14 in which the serial number 271 Tanzi Bongani.
Serial number 271 Tanzi Bongani.
Mingwara ero mo which gender male. Day 26 of 6/26/19. 1232.
1232.
You read it from exhibit UU1.
UU1,
the,
yes.
The register.
Yes. And then the case number 534 of 6/2020.
Case number 534 of 6/2020.
From Pretoria North.
Pretoria North.
No, but this person is from Pretoria North.
It's a case yes for Scott pulling a mood of Pretoria North.
Yes.
Then as time date of release is 26/19.
Manjege date to Kishenini to 26
1330. 1330.
At 1:30.
Reason for release not enrolled.
So into against Utiga Akulule Utiga Azange Ifa Wengando.
And the next place is to be taken to Primrose, SAPS.
Manjega to a final attack, I say Primrose, SAPS.
Do you know as why the case was not enrolled?
So, case?
What was written? Was there an entry in the?
Yeah, it was made
in the diary.
So
what was the entry? As a court, please. It's just the entry in the diary.
Yeah, I want that. No, like Sauberong, which
well, there is a diary, but there are some things that you said were outstanding. Can you
just please make the docket available?
Sorry?
Can you make that docket available?
Yes, I'll ask to be
Yes, I will make sure that the docket is available.
Yes. What happened then after the proceedings there at Phosphorus Court?
Phosphorus Court. We realized that it was still during the day, it was not yet dark. Since we are still continuing with the same case on which we were, I called Brigadier Kininza. I phoned Brigadier Kininza.
I don't know, why do you want to go
He then suggested that we should go back to Phuket where he was staying to go and try and find the hoodie that he was wearing. It's the same one that seems to appear in the photo. Yeah, well, I was actually so they say Phuket so sola la esala khona ukuthi singayithola in le hoodie le ayigqokile enjengale evela lapha esithombeni. We then proceeded to go to Phuket.
Just now you and who?
Me and Constable Mapena, late Mapena, Sergeant Mamrit Mokola, Brigadier Kininza.
It was Brigadier Kininza, me, the late Sergeant Mapena, and Sergeant Mohola.
Were you all traveling in one vehicle?
We were traveling in two cars.
Yes, how were you traveling?
Me and Mapena and Tansi were together in one car.
And then Sergeant Mokola, Brigadier Kininda,
Sergeant Mokola and Brigadier Kininda, they were together in their own car. Shooting in again, Mapena and Tansi, system of 28, Brigadier Kininda, no Mokola, Babe Hambange Abimo.
Which vehicle were you using?
Now you should Toyota Fortuna.
I was using a Toyota Fortuna. Now it's a Toyota Fortuna.
Sergeant Polali Brigadier Guinin and Washumisha Golf 7.
I'm unable to recall whether or not it was that Sergeant Mokola and Brigadier Kininza were using a Golf 7.
Yes.
Should I be there?
No, well, we then
proceeded to go with Ntanzi. There were no problems. He appeared affable and happy. We then arrived at the police station again in Phuket. So let's figure out if the police station is Phuket. We then asked the police there again to accompany us to the residence of Ntanzi. So system police would have pinned as well as the Liyaqhuba Ntanzi. They indeed gave us escorts to go to that place in Phuket. So the spellers are in Phuket. And when we arrived, it was already dark. Must be it was a tree. Ntanzi had his key in his pocket. And since he was handcuffed, I asked him to give me the key to his house. We then opened and went inside. His girlfriend was not there on that day. Intombi yakhe ayingekho ngalelo langa. We then went in together with him with Sergeant Mohola,
Sergeant Mapena,
Sergeant Mapena,
Mapolisa Puking,
Namapolisa, and then the Puking police. Sasingena Futi, some of them places of Puking, no, Sergeant Mohola, Namapena.
Brigadier Ginanachi to go in our phone.
Brigadier Kininza stayed in the car and they made calls. So Brigadier Kininza, no, I shall him 20, Washa Wuti.
When we went
into his house, we asked him for permission to search for that hoodie that is like the hoodie that is in the picture. And he gave us permission. Also sells the man.
We
conducted the search in his presence. There were some hoodies of several colors, but we did not find the one that has the color that is in the picture.
Please, my Lord, will this be an appropriate time to take the long adjournment? Okay.